street.
Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right. It's an OLine Committee crossover episode with our guy, 6-year NFL veteran offensive lineman, a former Minnesota Viking, a founding father of the OLine Committee podcast with Alex Boone. You can find his Trenches film breakdown posted on the Purple Daily audio feeds, but the Score North YouTube channel because we're still in YouTube jail till Friday. And a man who needs to see just a little more before he crowns JJ McCarthy and kisses the ring, Jeremiah Sirles on Purple Daily.
Man, it did not take you long to get that dog in the street audio clip on there, did it? You were just, dude, I'm telling you, the second I heard that, the second I saw that video clip, the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, oh, that's going to be on Phil's button.
Like a dog in the street.
Minutes. Like within minutes, I was like, that's for sure going to be on Phil's button bar.
Yeah, we've kind of ran it into the ground the last few days, I feel like.
Who has
Before we get into, there's been a lot of, I feel like people are like unnecessarily polarized with the JJ McCarthy discussion. The reality is we're going to watch a dude for probably 2 or 3 years, see if he can develop into a consistently high-level quarterback. You are more in the, whoa, it's been 3 games, everyone take a deep breath. We are very much this week
like
in
a dog in the street.
Camp, I feel like. But let's do a deep dive, get your thoughts, Jay. Also, Brian Flores, interesting blueprint against Lamar Jackson with Miami a few years ago we can talk about. But you guys both love Mystic Lake Casino and Hotel, Judd. Both you guys are connoisseurs, big fans.
I loved it before, Jay, but I love it more now because we did a watch party in Ventline on Sunday from the new Hop House. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to set you up, Jay. What drives you more crazy than when you go to an alleged sports bar and they've got a bunch of TVs, but they're not all on sports, and like you want a game on? This place had every single game on. The TVs are fantastic. Is there anything better than a sports bar that actually knows how to run its TVs?
No, absolutely. I mean, the only thing that might be better is if they've got the specials going and flowing, man. If they've got the specials that can rock and roll with the TVs, then you're cooking with gas.
Oh, God. The food is great. In fact, guess what? On Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30, trivia nights. On the weekend, they clear out those doggone tables. Live music every Friday and Saturday night starting at 10. Hop House. It is the place to be. Because you know why?
Big trivia guy. I feel like you're a big trivia guy.
Oh, no.
Like I feel like you just travel the like Minneapolis area finding trivia nights at the local bars. Like, and you've just got this brain of information back there.
Oh, that's funny you say that. No, because I'm not very smart. I'm not good at trivia at all. My wife enjoys it. I'm not good at it. I love to watch sports and talk about sports, and like sports trivia is okay, but like outside of that, I'm awful. I'm terrible.
You're like one lane. You are like aggressively great and knowledgeable in one lane, but when it comes to other things outside that lane,
I got a little pop culture, music, stuff like that, but like world, like geography and stuff. I should not be on anyone's team.
When they bust out like the name that tune part of the trivia, they play like 3 notes of a song.
Okay.
But when they ask you which Akistan this is, you're not real sure.
Oh God, yeah. And then I get bored. The problem is if I'm not good, I get bored too. So I become a toxic. Like I'm a bad locker room trivia person.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
fair.
You
That's
start
fair.
to sabotage it.
No, I just get bored.
Who's not a bad locker room guy is JJ McCarthy, though. I'll give you that.
Look at that.
I'll give you
Hosting.
that. I'll give you that, Phil. The bad locker room guy is not JJ McCarthy, because what we saw from him was a shot in the ass of adrenaline from a young quarterback. Right? This team was on life support. We knew it. Everyone knew it. You're just looking at it. I mean, when you're talking about the training staff and how injuries are being handled, and that's the main talking point for your team, you're on life support. Right?
We also had the dreaded reports from credible, for sure from Alec Lewis from The Athletic, who doesn't just put random stuff out there, I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, but talking about how the vibes were bad behind the scenes, not quite the same vibes. You get reports like that, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're just like, oh boy, we got to have something good for us to go here. And as much as it wasn't like, oh my gosh, JJ went out and threw for 450 yards and all this stuff, he shot energy into this team that went on all three phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams. You go on the road, you got to create your own energy, and he brought that to this team. And that is what I was most excited about watching him go. I still think there's a lot to be on the bone left desired of what he's going to be, but that's okay. He's only started 3 games in the NFL. It's okay to be excited that he's back and excited about what he brought, but still want to see more out of him to see if he truly is the guy going forward.
Can we break this down too, though? I feel like, Jay, I feel like with you being on the show, it provides a valuable opportunity, because I feel like with a team where the Vikings were and might be going, there's several different bins here, okay? Mm-hmm. So I think one of the reasons why the fans are so excited about McCarthy is the last taste in our mouth from Atlanta was so bad.
Yes.
So like, I don't think, if you said today to the normal, sane Vikings fan, do you think JJ's going to Canton? They'd be like, no. But that last game was so bad, and it was so terrible, and like
a dog in the street.
Unfortunately, because he got hurt, it left us with this, like, he didn't know what he was doing. It's like, this is a disaster. So I think fans are justifiably excited because they saw the dog in the street, which more importantly, he didn't get hit by the damn car. So that was important. But now let's go to the players, okay? Because I think this is important too. And Jeremiah, you've been on teams like this. I've covered teams, the 2010 team, okay, which was a disaster, a complete disaster. I think that this is, if this term makes sense to you, I think from an internal standpoint, what we were dealing with this season so far was fixable friction. Like, things start to go bad. It's not going great. But, like, I've seen toxic like when it's like when the body is full of poison and there ain't no coming back. Those locker rooms, that's a disaster.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of what we saw on Sunday just allowed, in different ways, fans and players, I feel it allowed everybody to take a breath and sort of calm down. Because when Alex says that there's tension and things like that, I don't doubt him. He's probably right. But it's eminently fixable.
Yes.
In 2010, when it went sideways, it got to a place where everyone was like, screw this. Didn't feel like we were near that. And now I think Sunday bought more time to sort of get back on track, and it can be kumbaya pretty quickly again.
And nothing massages everything over like a win. I mean, nothing. I mean, winning is everything in the NFL. And it doesn't matter if it's ugly. It doesn't matter if it's pretty. As long as at the end of the day, it's a W and it's in that column, everything else is absolutely, hey, we can move past that. We can go through. It's when the losses start to stack, the buttholes get tight, the edges get sharper. Like, it's just elbows out, right? A little bit of, hey, it's now protect me versus everyone else. And then as soon as you get that win and everyone's excited again, you're exactly right. Everyone can let bygones be bygones. And that guy that said something to me in the cold tub, like that DB that mentioned something, now I don't want to kill him. I don't want to rip his face off. Like, there's just a lot more camaraderie in that aspect. And that's what happens when you bring excitement back to football. Because when you're losing in the NFL, it sucks on a week-to-week basis. I mean, it's terrible. You're coming in, you're game prepping, and you're looking going, I don't know if we beat these dudes. Like, we're going to give it our best shot, and we're going to go, but, like, they're just better than us. And I think the struggling part that the Vikings had is they felt like the team that they had, they're watching film going, this team's not better than us, but I'm still not sure if we're going to win based off of where we're at the quarterback position. And so you get your guy back, you get JJ back, it brings that shot in the arm. It 100% just kind of puts all that turmoil and stuff to bed for a little bit, and it builds you some grace period to grow on the positives and not dwell on the negatives.
You know, something just occurred to me looking at the helmets behind. I can't see the Chargers helmet, but you've got all the helmets behind you that your little Nebraska helmet there, RIP.
Rip.
Rayola, yeah.
Where is it?
But your first experience in the league was with one of my all-time favorite quarterbacks to watch, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
He wasn't like he had a weird throwing motion, and he's kind of athletic early in his career, but he certainly didn't make his career off being like athletic. He
ran like a baby deer.
Yeah, he's just scrambling around. There's a certain level of physical stuff that you have to hit a certain bar We talked about Tim Tebow yesterday, one of the great football leaders of all time. But bro, like, you can't complete 48% of your passes, and your leadership goes out the window if you can't complete a pass. So, assuming you clear that bar, then it's like, okay, what really goes into being a winning quarterback? And maybe this is a hot take. JJ McCarthy's football psychopath demeanor and his, like, he gets that look on his face. He's a football psychopath. And I never met Phillip Rivers in person, but when I watched him play, I was like, that guy's kind of a psycho, man. Like, he doesn't swear. He's an all shucks, gosh darn it kind of a guy. But
Daggum.
McCarthy reminds me a little personality-wise of psycho Phillip Rivers. Is that a hot take?
I don't think it's necessarily a hot take. And I wasn't with Phil when he was early in his career. But, man, you want to talk about someone that just found ways to get under a defense's skin during the game with his mouth? It was Phil, because he didn't cuss, and it wasn't like, oh, F you or anything like that. It was personal. It was things like, man, I can't believe y'all put that blitz on tape. That's terrible, right? Like, he'd say things like that to the D coordinator as he's running up the field, or he'd point it out and be like, hey, he's blitzing, he's coming, pay no attention to this guy. Like, he had these little digs that he would take.
That might be more Baker Mayfield.
That might be more Baker Mayfield, but I think there is that competitive fire that Phil brought. I can see that with JJ. Right, but the difference is, Phil earned that competitive fire, and he earned that respect from his teammates. And I think even in young Tim Tebow, everyone bought in with young Tim Tebow, right? Everyone even bought in. I think people even bought in with like a young Johnny Manziel and a young Baker Mayfield. The problem is you have that psychopathness to you. It's you want to latch onto it as a teammate, and you want to jump on and ride that wave. But the second, like you said, the talent starts to dip, that stuff starts to wear on you. Right, like, hey, like a dog in the streets. It's like, mother trucker, you just completed 39% of your passes. Stop howling. Right, like there's a little bit of that piece to it where if you're going to put yourself out there and you're going to be that competitive fiery and that fiery leader, you have to back it up between the white lines. Like, you just have to, or else the rest of the world has now ammunition for you. Right, and Tim Tebow, as great as he was as a human, like that stuff off the field, people were pointing to it like, oh, he's such all this stuff, like great Christian man, follows up. It's like, yeah, but he's not completing. So F that guy. He can't complete a pass. Who cares how great of a human he is? It's a fine line of putting yourself out there, being that leader, and then also having to make sure you can back it up on Sunday afternoons.
I am so glad that you said that, because I always say that. Seems like a great guy. I don't care. Can you do the job? On McCarthy, so, and this is a very nuanced thing to say, and I'm probably overstepping my bounds because I don't know him that well, but I feel like he's learning how to be a football psycho. I think he thought he was one. I think in college he was for college, but I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes that is sort of dragging him along to, do you want to become that Tom Brady obsessed, this is what I care about, I'll have time for family later, that sort of thing, and it goes back to O'Connell. I mean,
are you willing to alienate your family for football?
100%.
And by the way, let me
for 7 Super Bowls, maybe.
And let me just say this again. Kevin O'Connell's crazy. Kevin O'Connell is a psycho. Kevin O'Connell comes off as a nice guy. That's awesome. But Kevin O'Connell, and I've said this before and I will say it again, no matter what he believes about his talents, okay? He wasn't good enough to succeed as a quarterback physically. He has the brain, though, to have been great. He's nuts. And I think what he's doing is he's looking at a guy like JJ and he's like, dude, you've got it. You've got what I didn't have. So let's get as psycho as I am. And so, like, I believe McCarthy has great attributes. Mm-hmm. But all of that being said, I mean, Jeremiah, you can agree or disagree, but one of my takeaways from the sport that you played professionally is it's an awful job. Now, it's great if you win, but it's a terrible job. You give your body, you give your soul, you give your, it's a brutal job.
Yeah.
You have to be nuts to want to do it. And more than any other sport, I think that is it. So the question is, how far, no matter how talented you are, how far are you willing to go mentally to get this done? And that's where I see McCarthy having to evolve. And I think he will, but Phil said it perfectly. Are you willing to alienate everything outside of your life? Faith, family, football, give me a break. It's football, faith, family, okay?
Let's go.
Like I can't say this enough. I've seen it. I've seen these guys.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
You guys are nuts.
Yeah, you have to be you have to have a few screws loose to play this game, right? I mean, like, I make fun of my friends that are like the Lincoln Halvesy marathons on Sunday, and a bunch of my friends are doing. I'm like, you guys are idiots, dude. You guys are paying money to go out there and run 13 miles, and they're like, you literally tried to fight people for like 60 minutes for fun. Like, and you got, I mean, yeah, you got paid for it, but like you tried to hurt other people while they were trying to hurt you. And I'm dumb. I was like, yeah, that's a fair statement. Like when you put it that way, but you do have to have this level of psycho-ness of, I don't really care what happens to me. Like if I die, he dies mentality is a little bit, I mean, it's not like we're going to war, but there is that piece of, I don't really care what happens to my body. I'm putting it all out on the line. And that's what makes this game so great. Because everyone, since they put a little Pee-wee helmet on, I mean, ever since I had this little helmet on right here when I was 8 years old for the Alameda.
Is that your actual?
Yeah, my Alameda Lightning youth football
that's
helmet.
Awesome.
Yeah, ever since I put that little
Dude,
bobblehead
you were
helmet.
born to be a Charger.
100%. I was the Alameda Lightning, man, right there. We were Carnation Bowl champions, my both 5th, 6th, 7th grade. But like, you know, ever since you put that helmet on, you want to play in the NFL. And you see it in college because everyone wants to play in college. And then you see the guys that are willing to do what it takes in college to get to the next level. And then you see the guys in the NFL that are willing to do what it takes to stay in the NFL and then what's willing to takes to be great in the NFL. Because there's varying levels to all of that. If you get in the door of the NFL, you have talent, right? And you don't have to have the most talent to be good in the NFL. Now, you have to have the combination of talent, desire, want to, psycho-ness to be great, like to be elite in the NFL. And you see that from a lot of guys that are in that piece of giving it away. But the guys sometimes that struggle early in their careers never get to that point where they realize what it takes. And I think that's to your point. I think Kevin O'Connell is trying to help JJ McCarthy understand as a young man and as a young father even now, like what it takes to be great. Because we don't want you just to be good. We want you to be great. And it took Josh Allen some years to do it. It took Justin Herbert some years to do it. And the jury's still out on some of those guys. But can KOC and JJ marry together to help it speed up and expedite that process?
So what are before we get into some of the, because I'd love to talk about what Brian Flores' defense did and what they may try to do with Lamar Jackson here. But you were around Teddy Bridgewater as a young quarterback with the Vikings. You were around rookie Josh Allen when you played for the Buffalo Bills. So you've kind of been around developmental but super talented first round quarterbacks, and McCarthy falls into that bin. What for guys like us who aren't in the locker room or at practice, besides like accuracy, which is something that McCarthy needs to get better at, what matters? Like when as we try to project out, is this dude going to be a franchise quarterback in like 3 years or 5 years? What are you looking for? What would get you to say, whether it's after 10 games or 30 games, okay, yep, okay, that's a dude.
Operation in the critical moments of the game, right? So when you get into, so there's really three, in my opinion, three critical moments and critical situations in the game. Short yardage goal line, third down, red zone 2 minutes. So 4, right? Those 4 things are critical situations and critical game-changing moments. How does he look in those moments? Because there's a lot of times where the play will break down, things won't go well. Is the operation from coach to player to huddle to line, everyone's lined up. We're not burning bad timeouts. We're not having to take a timeout in the red zone because it's not the right look. Right? Those type of things as he progresses is hard for a young quarterback because there's a lot going on. Right, you've got 5 linemen looking at you going, hey, what's the protection? You've got Jefferson and Hawkinson like hearing the route concepts. And then what was the snap count? And then what was Kevin in my ear saying to look out for? Was it the 2 high safety or the 1 high safety? Like there's just so much going on mentally that if I can see a quarterback go out and operationally perform in the critical moments and then be able to execute once the ball is snapped, that's when you start to be like, okay, this dude has what it takes to be an NFL caliber high-level quarterback. Because we've watched it, young players, you've got coaches burning timeouts, you've got delay of games, you've got false starts, you've got guys running the wrong way. Like that's all communication errors. And so if you can't, from a base level communication standpoint, operate within the offense and the confines of your rules, that what you do between once the ball's snapped and once the ball's dead doesn't matter. And so I need to continue to see him and Kevin O'Connell continue to work through those things and then understand that there's going to be bumps in the road with the development of once the ball is snapped, and watching him eliminate those bumps as we go. But I just have to continue to see the rest of the way here, the operation of the offense be able to be ran through JJ McCarthy with no issue.
And so of those four, what do you think is the most important as far as buy-in from teammates of saying, okay, he did that, that is impressive? Because on Sunday, the statistics weren't great. Like, the game was not perfect. It wasn't even close to it. But, like, what did you see on Sunday, if anything, that gave you, as a former player, a feeling of, okay, this is a big buy-in moment, and he succeeded?
The red zone. Right. I mean, we have struggled in the red zone. It's no secret. I mean, we watched what we try and do. We get down inside the 10, and then the offense just gets stuck in mud, and it's so frustrating. And so both games that JJ has had success in, Chicago and Detroit, he's ran the ball in the end zone with his legs. Right. He's just found a way to get that ball across the goal line. I don't care how it has to happen, throw it, run it, whatever it might be. Scoring points in this league is a premium. You have to be able to do it, and scoring 6 instead of 3 is such a difference maker. So watching him be able to create, execute, and throw that ball across his body to Hawk and hit it, and then run that one in there, like, those are the type of things I see in the red zone where it's like, okay, he's got that knack for the end zone. The next thing that I need to see from him is third down, because that's the money down. Right, hey, money down and buy-in from your teammates. I mean, how many times this year have we watched Baker spin off, run, go, reach, stand up, give the shrug off look, and the teammates are just freaking juiced? He has some of that to him with the way he can scramble and go, but also he's going to have to make that big throw to Jefferson over the middle in the tight window. He's going to have to make that anticipation crossing route throw to Jordan Addison where he's on the far hash and you're throwing it to the near hash, and you have to marry it up underneath there and throw guys open. Those are the type of things that he's just going to have to continue to grow and develop at. So red zone, I think the teammates bought in. This dude's going to get us in the end zone. Now it's, can he convert the money down in third downs?
Yeah, there's I was talking about this with Judd yesterday on the State of the Vikings episode. I think, last thing on McCarthy, then we can get to the defensive side. I think people mistakenly they assign way too much value to what you see with a quarterback statistics, like on the back of a football card or whatever. I mean, there's a million examples. Like last year, Tua Tagovailoa and Geno Smith averaged more passing yards per game than Matthew Stafford. But it would be laughable to suggest that you'd take either one of those guys over Stafford in like a big game or a big spot. Sam Darnold's passer rating was 10 points higher than Patrick Mahomes last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, Darnold's been awesome, but like, who do you want in a clutch game with 5 minutes to go? Like, obviously you want Mahomes. And I'm not putting McCarthy at all in any of those conversations.
Where are you going with this, Bill?
But what I am saying is, I want a guy who is going to and you mentioned like the 4 areas, and you're talking operationally, and in the high leverage spots. The green flag stuff for me in both the first game in the fourth quarter and in that game on Sunday was, especially Sunday, it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, on the verge of the red zone. Late in the game, there's a 3rd and 5. All of these, they know you're passing. You're on the road. You're silent snap count. It's hard, and he still is completing those passes when the pressure is mounting. Now, we need to see more sample size. But, like, I'd rather start with that stuff. Oh, man, he's kind of elevating his game in the highest leverage moments. Let's fill in the footwork and the accuracy stuff so that he can do it for 3 hours. Because I don't think you can – some of that stuff, I don't think you can teach calming yourself on a 3rd and 9 on the road. I don't think you can, like, you either have that or you don't intrinsically.
You have that little bit of that calm in the storm or not getting wrapped up. You know, a big thing that he needs, in my opinion, the number one thing that he needs to work on is his velocity control. Right? There's a couple of those balls. I mean, that one where he rolled out to try, I mean, if that was a harpoon, it would have killed Justin Jefferson. Yeah. Right? I mean, he was 8 yards away from him, and he just, the wind up and the pitch, right? But then you see it on that last 3rd and 5 to Naylor. The perfect touch pass, up and over, drop it in. And so that's the green light stuff for me, is because my question for him was, do you have more than just the fastball in your bag? Like, because in college it was play action. Oh, look at that. Roman Wilson's 8 yards open, 25, 30 yards down the field. Like, you didn't see him have to operate this, hey, I need to throw it over this zone defender, behind the linebacker, in the safety with this touch ball. And so that one throw for me really was like, okay, it's in there. Now he just has to learn how to get to it more or get to this throw or that throw. But again, the green flag, it's there, right? That answered a question for me. And so now it's with Kevin O'Connell and Josh McCown and JJ McCarthy to start working with him of, hey, when you're rolling out there and Jefferson's 8 yards away, maybe two-hand pass it to him. I don't know. Like, don't just absolutely
Underhand.
try and...
They've been working on that since...
like something, right? Because he just throws the ball so damn hard
Just
at
bounce
times.
it to
Like,
him,
it's
man.
okay, man. Calm down.
They've been working on that since the spring, though. Like,
Yeah.
the layered throws. It's funny because for a guy whose arm talent was questioned as far as his ability and velocity, he makes some old Favre throws. Old school where
YOLO throws.
Well, and
The
and
Hawkinson touchdown was a little
Yeah.
bit of a.
well, and guys have complained like if you go back to 92 or so, Favre was breaking guys' fingers in practice.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "You broke my freaking finger," and it would be like, "He throws so hard." It's like he probably doesn't need to throw that hard on that pass.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's layers to it. But, I mean, again, excited that he's back. I think it shot this team in the arm, and I'm excited to see him consistently be able to do it over the next couple weeks.
And now everyone gets to freak out if he's bad against the Ravens.
Crown and
or
kill, baby.
Crown him, yeah.
Crown and kill. We're riding the wave.
Zero nuance, no middle
No
ground
in
at all.
between. Crown or kill.
But let's talk about the key thing, though, Phil. Because to me, if this team is going to make the playoffs, it's not going to be on the back of the quarterback. It's going to be on how that defense played on Sunday.
Yes, we're going to get into that.
100%.
By the way, the number on McCarthy on Prize Picks right now is for this game against the Ravens, and he hasn't thrown for 200 in a game yet, but they've got it at 210.5 passing yards. So you can select more or less on that and a bajillion other players around the NFL this weekend. You select between 2 and 6 players on Prize Picks. You pick more or less on their projected stats, and you place your entry. It's super easy. Lamar Jackson, 226.5 in this game. And he went over that against B-Flow's Miami defense, but it was a rough go to get there for him. But, yeah, you download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code PURPLEDAILY, and you get $50 in lineups when you play just $5. That's code PURPLEDAILY to get $50 in lineups when you play just $5. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. If riding the roller coaster of emotions makes you sick to your stomach, don't worry. You don't have to deal with digestive issues. Some people think like, it's just my stomach. Well, I'll tell you what. Mingy Digestive Health has been a life changer literally for me. I started going to Mingy when I was like 12 years old because I had some stomach issues and we couldn't figure it out. Turns out it was acid reflux and GERD. I've had scopes, medications in my life, and now through many different adjustments over the years, tinkering with foods and drinks, and thanks to the help of Mingy Digestive Health, I've learned to manage my stomach and not have to feel like I'm embarrassed monitoring where the bathrooms are when I'm out and about or in a different city or traveling or whatever it is. So don't let digestive issues sideline you. Don't feel embarrassed. Mingy is here with expert coaching and help. Schedule a visit at Mingy.com. That's MNGI.com. MNGI.com. Okay. About 10 more minutes here with our guy, Jeremiah Sirles from the OLine Committee YouTube channel and Apple and Spotify. You can find our podcast, OLine Committee. So Brian Flores is Miami Dolphins defense. 4 years ago, hosted the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson when they were 6-2. They were red hot. Lamar Jackson coming into his own as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And the Dolphins, by the way, started off terribly that year, but they won a bunch of games. That was the second win in a string of like 6 straight victories. And they came out and they stuck it to the Dolphins. It was like a 22-10 victory or something, I think was the final score. And so Baltimore, they had 3 points through 3 quarters. They score a touchdown with like 4 minutes to go to make it a little bit closer. But in that game, Brian Flores blitzed Lamar Jackson 36 times. 36 times, including 22 safety blitzes. At least, it might have been more than that. It was 22 Javon Holland, and it was 17 by Brandon Jones, the strong safety.
It was 30 plus cover 0 snaps.
So yeah, what do you remember about that game? For that game against the Lions, it was The middle, it was the off-ball linebacker blitzes for 3 hours.
Middle dog cross.
What? Oh,
That's right. Football.
Middle dog cross, baby. Old school.
what's he gonna dial up against?
Like
Lamar
a dog in the
Jackson?
street.
Like a dog in the streets.
That's right.
Like a dog in the street.
Got you guys.
God. I mean, yeah, so those safety blitzes, here's the thing. I think that was a great game plan because I don't think Lamar anticipated that, right? And even then, that was, what'd you say, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Right. Lamar has become such a better polished passer in those 4 years. Right. I mean, the 4 years ago, I don't think he was the guy that we are afraid of now, where it used to be, let's get him off his spot. Let's try and make him move. Let's not let him sit back there. See the thing. If you let Lamar sit back there now, he can pick you apart. And he's got way more weapons than he has before, right? You've got Zay Flowers. You've got Mark Andrews. Like, you've got some really good pass-catching ability guys. D-Hop's as good as they come as far as understanding coverages, understanding where to get behind the blitz. And so I don't think it's going to be the same level of, hey, 34 cover zeros, man coverage, Godspeed, Lamar. But I do think it's going to be a very high-pressure defense, mostly because I don't believe that the Baltimore offensive line is as good as advertised. I think there was a lot of hype coming into this season that King Henry was going to run all over the place. You've got Roger Rosengarten, Ron Stanley, Tyler Lindenbaum. Like, you've got some dudes up there, but they haven't fully clicked, in my opinion, this year, where they just look like they're just this brick wall in front of Lamar Jackson. There's some chinks in the armor. And so whatever the plan is, I do believe it's going to be a high pressure, come after Lamar Jackson type of game. And I think Dallas Turner in this game is going to be the guy that you want to use to spy Lamar Jackson.
Really?
Because
Okay.
if you come after Lamar, the danger is he slips past the first line of defense, and if you're coming after him and you're running man coverage, all the DB's backs are turned. And so if those routes are far down the field and you come after Lamar and he does Lamar things and he escapes, there's 20 yards of green grass between him and the next defender. And so if you have this idea, no one is afraid of doing that with Jared Goff. Like, you could spy Jared Goff, Judd. I mean, the dude can't run. Right?
I wouldn't bother.
No, you just wait. Like, he's just going to fall down, or he's going to take two steps, and someone else is going to catch him.
That's
right?
my job today.
Well, with Lamar, that dude is the most hard quarterback to get on the ground that I can remember in recent history. And so if you're going to come after him with interior or edge blitzes, whether it's Harrison Smith or it's Eric Wilson or it's whoever it might be, you better have someone looping into the middle of the field, looping away from the pressure that can gather up Lamar Jackson and just stay in front of him long enough for the cavalry to come. If I'm B-Flow, that person for me is Dallas Turner, because he hasn't been successful as getting to the quarterback, but he's a great athlete that can try and bottle up Lamar Jackson when I'm sending Eric Wilson, Blake Cashman, or Harrison Smith.
Okay, let's go back to the Lions game and tell me, Jay, how you think that this could apply on Sunday, all right? The Lions game, there's a lot of storylines there. But in my personal opinion, one thing that made it glorious was the interior pressure that we hadn't really seen. And Hargrave was a monster. Like, where that guy has been, I'm not quite sure. Because he had 2 sacks in week 1, but he sort
built to
of
rush
checked out.
The passer when we're ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, though, what do you think the application is there? Because my theory has been, and you can confirm this or tell me I'm crazy, my theory has always been, in the modern day NFL, interior pressure is the greatest because it's on top of a quarterback immediately. It's great to get pressure from the edges, but those guys, it takes some time. So with a guy who's as athletic and good as Lamar, if you can replicate some of that pressure with the center and guard matchups from the Ravens, what does that do against a quarterback who, to your point, is a hell of a lot more athletic than Jared Goff?
Yeah, the interior pressure is also really hard because you make running backs block, right? As an offensive line, you can usually scheme like, hey, we're going to read inside out. And so if they're bringing the edge pressure, we can get the tackle out on the DB. Or even if they bring inside pressure and edge pressure, then we'll take the inside guys in O-line and let the DB get blocked by the running back. When you send both interior linebackers, you're immediately creating a mismatch because you're going to have one offensive lineman on the interior, and then you're putting Jahmyr Gibbs or the running back on the linebacker, which is usually a mismatch. And so Jahmyr Gibbs, as much as he's a talented guy, he's not huge. He's not a big physical prowess. And Eric Wilson's only job was like, hey, go beat him up. right? Like Eric wasn't necessarily trying to get sacks. He was teeing off on Jahmyr Gibbs. And that took a wear and it took down a tear on him throughout the rest of the game where he wasn't as explosive. He wasn't able. And then finally, when Jahmyr was tired of getting hit, instead of using his hands, he threw his shoulder into him. There's where Eric came up with the sack, right? So it was a combination of going through it. And so if you're going to do that to Lamar, like especially early downs, you're going to test, can King Henry come up and pass block? Well, the answer is yes, right? But hey, can Justice Hill? Right? Can Tyler Lindenbaum communicate with the running back behind you when you run that dog cross where the first linebacker comes and picks the center and then the dude kind of wraps around and now you're passing off a stunt with a linebacker with a running back, then you're used to passing it off with your guard, which is super easy. You two are in communication. You go, like now you're talking about someone coming from an offset position to the line of scrimmage, make sure you're on the same level, same plane, same communication. It's really hard to communicate that way. And so if you're going to try and do that against Lamar, the good news is Tyler Lindenbaum, no offense to Graham Glasgow, Tyler Lindenbaum's a much better player. And Lindenbaum's going to be able to identify it. He's going to be able to see it. He's going to be able to communicate it and try and probably find ways to eliminate that mismatch and go there. But I really mean, you look at what the Lions missed, it's Frank Ragnow.
Yeah, and he's not coming to save the day for if Brian Flores just put a blueprint out for other teams in the next month. Frank Ragnow is out fishing and hunting somewhere. But just back to Lamar for a second to wrap this. You're right. 4 years ago, he was not the polished passer. I mean, he's the last 2 years he has a 136 passer rating right now.
Yes.
I mean, he's more accurate. There's some other weapons out there. He was, I don't know where he ranked, but he was considerably worse statistically against the blitz 4 years ago than when kept clean, which is, I mean, that's the case. But it was like a really wide gap. It's the case with most quarterbacks. But this year, I think he grades out, and statistically, I believe he is one of the best quarterbacks when blitzed. And so you do have to account for that.
Yeah.
If you're B-Flow, that, hey, this thing worked 4 years ago where we just literally just sent guys at him in waves. So this year, he has, when blitzed, Lamar Jackson has a 138.6 passer rating. He averages 10 yards per attempt on 80% completions when blitzed.
Yeah.
So with that information, then how would you proceed differently than 2021?
Yeah, you pick your times to blitz. You don't live by the blitz. Right. Last week we lived by the blitz. We were going to live and die by it. And that was B-Flow's game plan going in was, listen, we're coming after him. Regardless if they hit plays or not, we're going to keep coming. Right. Because Jameson Williams drops that one over the cross route, that might score. Right. If Jameson Williams honestly doesn't drop that one pass when they send the middle dog cross, and it was Blake Cashman now trying to run with Jameson Williams, he catches that, he might walk into the end zone. Didn't scare B-Flow. We're still coming after him. You're going to have to pick and choose when you come after Lamar Jackson and dial it up and not let him get a read on it, to where if you are consistently blitzing over and over and over again, he's going to start to recognize and he's going to be able to start to identify and come off on the side and say, hey, let's get to this. You're going to want to rely on your guys to be able to get home up front, the Van Ginkels, the Grenards, the Redmonds, right, Hargrave, and those guys to get home, and then pick and choose your times to dial it up when you really need a negative play.
I can't. This is going to be such a fun game. Hopefully
it should be.
Great.
We'll
chess
see.
Match. Both teams kind of. I do feel like the Ravens have a bunch of. They've got like 4 or 5 games up against like the Bengals and the Browns and stuff. But it would be their 6th loss if they
lose this game. I mean, they could be far away.
Yeah, both teams. It's going to be hard for both teams to claw back into the playoff picture. A loss is pretty devastating for either of these teams.
Agreed.
Agreed.
It's a must-win, as some would say.
Only on Sunday on Fox.
Yeah.
Must win for the Vikings. Must win for the Ravens.
Let's fire it up. Do we know who's calling this game?
Kevin Kugler and Daryl Moose Johnston, who I think is still good.
I want Mark Sanchez to come back. Can we get Mark?
I don't
Sanchez
think Mark's ever
back
coming
on
back.
I think Mark's pretty well done there, Philip.
I think we're going to forget that Mark worked.
I'm just waiting for the indictment to drop so we can read the actual report.
Oh, I know. But the networks are great at that stuff. Like, they just fire people, and then you just don't see them anymore.
Dude, Fox literally, I don't think they've ever even acknowledged it.
They have.
Like, they've never been like, yes. Like, they have never even acknowledged. They just were like, and axed.
Yeah.
Welcome into Fox broadcast. Like, they're just like, wow, that was aggressive.
The day after it happened, they acknowledged that there had been an incident, and they wished Mark the best. And then they're like, we'll send you your check for the rest of the season. Now it's time for Brady Quinn.
On to the next. Yeah, Brady Quinn.
Next man up mentality, man. It's the NFL.
It's football. Yeah.
Football.
Again, it's brutal. It's a brutal business.
Yeah. Next man up.
Yep.
He's Jeremiah Sirles. You can find him on the OLine Committee, just doing film breakdowns, our 3 days a week podcast with Alex Boone. And we bring him in every few weeks here on Purple Daily, too, to give us some actual knowledge that we don't have. We think we have knowledge, but then actual football players come on the show, and they tell us what's up. So,
I'm a dog in the street, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
One more time.
And
Phil.
soon,
Like a dog in the street.
soon Jay will be a dog in the street. One more big game, and I think he's going to
One more. Yeah, just give me. I just need a 3-game sample size instead of 2.
For Jay, for the sports dad Judd, I'm Phil, and this is Purple Daily. 365 days a year of Vikings takes. See you guys.